Welcome to the Storytime Adventures for Adults video series. Today we will be reading Part 2, pages 110 to 113 from Songs from the Depths by Meg Swanson. My blood coats their hands, stains that can never be washed away. Sisters no more, I raise my voice, hear my song. Aglaope stood on the edge of the island, looking into the sunset. Red sky at night, sailor's delight, she sighed, suddenly very sad. The island had never been her home. Her home was her sister's. Aglaope wished that she could stay, that she could make her sisters understand how much more than just meat they could get from what they caught. She sighed again as Thelxiepeia came to stand beside her. Come with me, Aglaope said. We'll leave together, start a new life. Thelxiepeia crossed her arms over her chest and looked at her older sister. You don't get it, do you? Get what? You did this. You got us put on this rock, and now we're supposed to let you go? Do you know what will happen to you out there? Aglaope pushed her hair behind her ear. Well, I'm assuming that Demeter or Poseidon will kill me before I even reach land. But I have to try. I can't stay here anymore. I want to fly. Thelxiepeia nodded. Oh, you want to fly? Her sister's voice had taken on an edge that she had never heard before. Aglaope took a step back before replying. Yes, I want to fly. Peisione appeared behind her and pinned Aglaope's arms to her sides. Get her on the ground. Thelxiepeia had pulled a sharpened stone from behind her back. Peisione wrestled Aglaope face down on the rocks. Aglaope fought to lift her face from the burning hot stone. Please, sisters, what are you doing? Thelxiepeia kneeled next to her head and put her face close to Aglaope's. What needs to be done? She then grabbed one of Aglaope's wings and began to saw at its base with the stone. Aglaope writhed and screamed over the sound of sawing. Peisinone's grip loosened, and Aglaope got an arm free. I said you would need to hold her tight. Now do it. Peisione shifted so that her knee was braced on Aglaope's back. Her other leg was planted firmly on the rock. Peisione twisted Aglaope's wayward arm back under control. As Thelxiepeia continued to hack at the wing, Aglaope's screams subsided into sobbing. She pressed the side of her face into the rocks as she watched feathers fall around her. By the time Thelxiepeia had finished with the first wing, Aglaope was completely numb. The silent acceptance made Peisione nauseous. Aglaope could see her sister's blood-stained hair, which hung down and swung with the rhythm of the sawing. She could feel the pressure of Peisinone's hands on her wrists and the knee that was holding her down. None of it mattered. She had accepted her death as inevitable when she made the decision to leave the island. There was no way the gods would let her survive past the boundaries they had set. This, though, was a fate far worse than death. Knowing the true hatred her sisters harbored for her. Knowing they were deliberately taking away her last flight. Thelxiepeia stood up, threw the second wing on the ground, and looked down at her sisters. Throw her in the sea. Peisione let go of Aglaope's arms and stood to face her baby sister. What? Throw her in. I'm going to get cleaned up. I don't want to see her when I get back. Thelxiepeia walked away. Peisione kneeled beside Aglaope and stroked her back through the blood. I'm so sorry. She convinced me that doing this would keep you safe from the gods. I know now that I was wrong. So very wrong. Aglaope rolled onto her side and cradled one of her wings. It's done. Peisione rubbed her sticky fingers on the rocks to clean away the blood. Yes, well. Aglaope slowly got to her feet and dropped her wing. Peisione reached for her, but Aglaope held up a hand. Please, don't. I will put myself into the sea if you don't mind. You can tell Thelxiepeia anything you want, but allow me this. Peisione took a step back to give her sister some space to ease herself into the sea. She saw Aglaope shudder as the salty water reached the gaping wounds where her wings had been, and fell ill as blood stained the water. Aglaope allowed her body to flow out to sea with the current. Peisione stood watching and said a quick protection prayer to Amphitrite to keep her sister safe. This was part 2, pages 110 to 113 from Songs of the Depths by Meg Swanson. We will continue reading Part 2 on December 2nd. If you can't wait until then to hear how the story goes, feel free to purchase the book at www.megswanson.me. Next week, we will continue reading Social Conundrums, Part 7. To read this futuristic fantasy blog series, visit www.reneeannhughes.com. If you would like to contribute to these series, please feel free to become a patron on Patreon. Details for joining are on my website, and also please subscribe to this YouTube channel so you won't miss any new videos. Goodbye, and thanks for listening.